Manchester United extend their unbeaten home run against the Blues thanks to a moment of magic from Cristiano Ronaldo. Watch until the end of this review to hear all of my thoughts on yesterday's match. Hello people, welcome to my channel, welcome to another video. This is my review of the match that took place yesterday evening at Old Trafford in the Premier League between Manchester United and Chelsea, which ended in a 1-1 draw. So what I'm going to do for you guys in terms of this review is that firstly, I'm going to run you guys through the lineup that Thomas Tuchel fielded at the start of the match against Manchester United that took place yesterday evening. I'll then be giving you guys my thoughts on the match itself, and yes, I'll be breaking it down into the first half and the second half, and I'll be giving you guys the positives and the negatives that I took from the match, in addition to my thoughts on the first half and the second half. And lastly, I'll be giving you guys my thoughts on Chelsea's upcoming Premier League fixture that will be taking place this Sunday at Goodison Park against Everton, with kickoff at 2 p.m. UK time. So without further ado, let's get straight into this review. So we shall begin by taking a look at the lineup that Thomas Tuchel fielded at the start of yesterday's match against Manchester United. And yes, we're going to kick things off by talking about the formation that was chosen. And yes, it was a 3-4-1-2 as expected. And in terms of the personnel that was chosen to start yesterday's match, it was Edouard Mendy in goal. The back three was made up of Cesar Azpilicueta, who was in the right centre-back position, Thiago Silva, who was in the centre of the back three, and Antonio Rudiger, who was in the left centre-back position. In terms of the four just in front of the three and behind the one, it was Reece James, who was in the right wing-back position. The two central midfield positions were occupied by Angola Kante and Jorginho, and Marcos Alonso was the starting left wing-back. So that's the four just in front of the three and behind the one. And in terms of the one just in front of that four and behind the front two, it was Mason Mount, who was in the number 10 position. And in terms of our front two, it was Kai Havertz and Timo Werner. So that is the lineup that Thomas Tuchel fielded at the start of yesterday's match against Manchester United. Now, in terms of my thoughts on the first half, I have to be completely honest and say that we made a fantastic start to the match in terms of the way we approached the match, or the way we looked to approach the match. We started really quickly, we got control of the ball, and we looked to attack them straight away, which we did, although we didn't really get too many chances in the early stages of the match or the first half, but we did look really good, and we limited the amount of chances in which Manchester United could create, although they did have periods in the first half where they got into decent positions and got some shots off, but thankfully they didn't really threaten Edouard Mendy's goal whatsoever. But yes, we did end up creating some glorious chances, and we did see ourselves take some shots from distance from the likes of Mason Mount, Reece James, and Angola Kante, but they didn't really test the keeper whatsoever. Mainly the Mason Mount one and the Angola Kante one. They didn't test David De Gea. I almost said Edouard Mendy, but yes, they didn't really test David De Gea because they were either blocked or didn't go anywhere near the goal. But yes, Reece James did have some chances as well, and he managed to get some shots on target for us. But after that, we saw Kai Havertz have a few glorious opportunities. One of them which saw him hit the side netting, and he should have done better with that chance. One of them which saw him have his header go straight into the hands of David De Gea, and for me, he should have scored there. And I have to say, it was a great cross from our right hand side from Reece James, if I'm not mistaken. And he had another chance where he got put through by N'Golo Kante, and he saw his shot get saved. But I have to say, fair play to David De Gea for closing the space. But for me, Kai Havertz should have definitely done better with that one-on-one opportunity. But yes, we had some glorious chances, and we should have gone into half-time with the lead, because had we done so, no one could have argued against us doing so, because we would have been full value for it based on the way we played in that first half. But overall, It was a great first half. I actually thought we played really well, except for the way we played in the final third, which definitely needed work. And I'd be very silly to deny that. But in terms of my thoughts on the second half, I have to say that we made a good start to the second half. We weren't as good as we were in the first half at the start of the second half, but we still looked good. Manchester United did up it a bit, and they looked better than they did in the first half, in the early stages of the second half. But from where we got the goal, and it was a deserved goal. It was a great piece of play down our right hand side that saw the ball go into the box, or that saw the ball get put into the box by Reece James. It was a great cross. Kai Havertz did try to score, but he couldn't. He couldn't score, or he at least tried to shoot, but he couldn't get an attempt on goal from the cross that was put in by Reece James, and instead decided to flick it on to Marcos Alonso, who hammered it home. David De Gea had absolutely no chance of saving that. It was so well struck, and it was placed right into the bottom corner where goalkeepers just can't do anything about it. And we deserved that lead. It was a great performance from us up until then, but sadly, 2 minutes later, we threw our lead away, and we let the one man we just should not have. Sorry, we just allowed the one man who we could not have given space to have space. And yes, I'm talking about Cristiano Ronaldo. We allowed him to have space in the box. We allowed Matic to have time on the ball to pass it to him, and I have to say it was a great pass from him. And CR7 controlled the ball really well and just fired it past Edouard Mendy, who had absolutely no chance of saving that. He might as well have not been in the goal because that was unsavable, and that gave them the equaliser. Very annoying that we threw away our lead in such a fashion, but that's Cristiano Ronaldo for you. If you give him a chance, he's going to take it. If you give him space in the box, he's going to punish you for it. And that's exactly what he did. After that, Manchester United didn't really threaten. Yes, they brought on some players and they did look better. We took off some players and we weren't able to generate as many chances as we were generating before we brought on some of the players that we brought on. I'm actually I was actually very surprised at the fact that Angola Kante came off because he was having a very good game. He was running the show in the middle of the park. He was getting past their midfield with ease. Defensively, he was extremely good. He was very strong. Offensively, yes, he did misplace. Got there in the end, a few passes, but he was pretty good offensively as well. He did help us start attacks. He did create some chances as well. He had a few shots. He tried offensively. He did actually thought he did pretty good offensively. But honestly, I thought when Ruben Loftus-Cheek came on, and this is no discredit to Ruben Loftus-Cheek or disrespect to Ruben Loftus-Cheek, we weren't able to really do as much in the middle of the park. We weren't able to have as much control of the game, and that is also partly due to the fact that Manchester United brought on some of their players from the bench, the likes of Juan Mata and Phil Jones, which made it very hard for us to progress through the middle of the pitch. Because when Phil Jones came on, they changed their system to a back three. But honestly, we should have killed that game. Reece James did have a shot from the edge of the box, which was set up by Mason Mount, and he unfortunately hit the post. He admitted that he should have done better with that, but that's just unlucky in my opinion. But honestly, overall, I actually thought we played pretty well, and despite despite saying so, we really should have won the game. It's as simple as that. We really should have left Old Trafford with a record-breaking win, or a curse-ending win, if you like. But we really should have won the game. And in terms of the positives and the negatives that I took from the match, one positive and two negatives, and the only positive that I took from the match is that we played a very good game. And I've elaborated on this already, so I'm just going to leave it as that. In terms of the two negatives now, I have to be completely honest and say that these or the first one has been affecting us for quite a few seasons now. I mean, you guys have heard me say this so many times in the last few years, and yes, this negative is that we were just not clinical. Honestly, honestly, if I had a pound for every time I said that we're not clinical, I'd be able to live in Winchester. It's as simple as that. We need to improve in the final third. That's the first negative. The second and final negative is that we just did not hold on to our lead, or we couldn't hold on to our lead. And I have to say that we did lose our concentration for the equaliser, which was, of course, scored by Cristiano Ronaldo. And that is something that needs to improve because we are fighting for a place in the top four. Yes, some may argue that we are going to finish in third place, but for me, that's not guaranteed, especially with the way Arsenal are playing as of now. They have been absolutely brilliant in their recent games and have picked up some really good wins, including the win against us. So we have to be careful. But yes, we need to start holding on to our leads more. But anyways, guys, that's it for my thoughts on the match. Do feel free to drop your thoughts down below. And as always, I shall do my very best to respond. Let's move on. Now, to end this review, I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on our upcoming Premier League fixture that will be taking place this Sunday at Goodison Park against Everton, with kickoff at 2 p.m. UK time. Honestly, we need to win this game. It is absolutely not going to be easy because Everton are fighting against relegation, and as well as this, we do not have a good record at Goodison Park whatsoever. We haven't won there in almost 5 years to the day, and yes, the last time we won there was on the 30th of April 2017, which was a 3-0 victory for the Blues, which saw Pedro Rodriguez, Gary Cahill and Willian get the goals for us. But honestly, we need to win. We need to start picking up points, and preferably 3 points. We need to stop dropping points, I should have just said. But yes, we absolutely need to win if we are to strengthen or keep strengthening our grip on third place, because Arsenal have been playing really well recently. And I'll say it again, they really have been playing well recently, and they are looking to finish in the top four and potentially leapfrog us in the table. So yes, we absolutely have to win. We absolutely have to keep winning. And as well as this, we have to keep winning because we do have an FA Cup final in just over a couple of weeks' time. So we have to keep winning. We have to start being more bloody clinical. It's as simple as that. And I'm just going to leave it as that. Thank you for watching. I'll see you very soon. Come on, you Blues. Come on, Thomas Tuchel. And peace.